Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. Every time I do this channel video, this is so funny. Boo Rabbit, I just heard him run up here. He always runs up the stairs, and he always comes and joins me. And do you remember Tucker used to do the same thing? And then at the end, hi honey. And then at the end, Tucker would always bark, right? As I was saying goodbye to everybody. What's so funny about that is it's only on this channel. It's not on my review channel. It's not on my drama channel. It's only on the Peterisms channel. You must really like this channel a whole lot, don't you? Yeah. We're going to have a little evening, just the two of us tonight, because Dad is going over to his friend's house to watch a movie. And so we're going to watch a movie here and maybe get a pizza or something. You want to get a pizza? He said, oh, I love my food that I have. So anyway, I filmed a really great Peterisms video yesterday. I was so happy with it. I love the meditations. One was about self-worth, and I read from one meditation book that I don't typically read from, which is about self-esteem and things like that. And I really liked the meditations that I read from. And so Alex came home right as I was uploading it, and I was like uploading or rendering one video, uploading another one, and I took the memory card out, put it back in, and never uploaded it to the computer, and I deleted the video. So these things happen, and I was like, okay, just sit down and refilm it. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna spend some time with my husband, so I will film another Peterisms video tomorrow. So I just went and I got 3 meditation books. I got the Meditations for Living in Balance and the 2 Melody Beatty books, and I opened them all to today's date, which is September 16th. And I was looking at the titles, and all of them sound good, interesting, and I don't really know where they're gonna go. So let's just kind of, I think I'm gonna pick from Meditations for Living in Balance first and see where it goes. I have no idea what this meditation is gonna be about. September 16th, the childhood adulthood process. Life begins as a quest of the child for the man and ends as a journey by the man to rediscover the child. Lawrence Vanderpost. Is it just that we human beings are doomed always to push to be something that we are not? Or is there another way to perceive the process of living? What if each state of life were valued in and of itself? What if we were supported by our parenting practices to learn to be as fully in the moment as possible and to move toward adulthood as a process of unfolding, not as a goal to be accomplished? Have you ever watched a sunrise or a sunset? These are my favorite times of day. I love the process of the sunrise and the sunset. There's actually no such thing as a specific sunrise or sunset, even though the papers post a specific time or a scientific time. Sunrises and sunsets exist only as processes. I never thought of it that way. The world slowly comes into daylight or comes into night. Neither shift, just happens. The same is true with growing up and growing old. If we accept the process, it is a gradual, ongoing transition. The day is always in the night, and the night always in the day. The child is always in the adult, and the adult is always in the child. From this perspective, there is no such thing as a lost childhood or a child within. We are all a process that at all times contains all parts of us. Do you have the time to notice the child operating in you and the adult operating in the child? Open your perspective. Balance is participating in the whole process. Wow, this is a really interesting meditation. And you know, it's something that I actually do think about quite a bit. Well, hello, Boo Radley. I think one thing that has become apparent to me is that I've looked at my life in kind of eras, if that makes sense. You know, I look at like my childhood, and I think about my childhood being up until like maybe my like freshman or sophomore year in high school. And that's my first era. And then I look at my high school years, and that's my second era. And then I look at the eras between high school and when I got sober, and those are kind of like my really hardcore partying eras, and that's the third one. And then I would say there's my first year of sobriety, but that also goes into getting my master's degree and my first long-term boyfriend, and that's my fourth one. And I don't know why I do this, but I kind of look at these eras of my life as partners that I've had, so that's my fourth one. And then my fifth one is with my ex, and then my sixth one is the era that I'm in today, which is the one that I'm living in with Alex. And it's interesting because I kind of feel like to some degree we're in a transition period. You know, for such a long time, it was, you know, like Alex, you know, was in school and working up and his career and things like that. And then, you know, I started YouTube, and, you know, we had the 3 dogs. We had, you know, Pee-Pee, Boo, and Tucker. And now it's just, you know, Alex and Boo and I. And so it seems strange, you know, it seems like a bygone era, kind of, that where we would come home every day and the 3 dogs would be in bed and it was very hectic around the house and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Like, that seems like that's gone, you know. And I think also, as, you know, family members that are close to me, you know, like my dad and my stepmom, they get older, and, you know, it's like my family is really just like my cousin Caroline and I. You know, I have family other than that, like on my dad's side, but as far as like family that I'm really super close with, it's really just my cousin Caroline. You know, and it's like my friend Tanya and I, we have been through so much together. I mean, 25 years of a friendship. I mean, amazing, right? But I think some of the things that I have really learned or realized in my life, like learned to appreciate about just being present or taking my time, like the lessons that you wouldn't really think you need to learn, like slowing down, like just slow down. Like some days you're not going to accomplish everything, right? Some days are just for sitting on the couch and binge watching a TV show. And I know a lot of people like learn that, but I'm talking about learning it in different ways, you know, or really allowing yourself to like treat yourself, to go out to dinner with friends. And, you know, maybe if you have to splurge, you know, and spend a little bit of extra money every once in a while to do that. Or if there's something that you really want, allow yourself to have it, you know, while also taking care of yourself in the future. But all these lessons that I've learned, you know, like, especially I think the greatest lesson that I've learned, and I mean, we see this in movies, they play it out in Oscar-winning movies, and they talk about it in TV shows and poetry and books, but that really the only thing that is truly priceless in life is the time that we spend with people. But I think, for me, I don't know that I really understood that until it was too late. For a lot of people, it was too late. You know, my mom was already gone. My dad was a lot older, and we couldn't do things the way that we had done them in his youth, when I didn't want to, you know, do things constantly with my parents. So it's harder, you know, it's like I'm 50 now, and I can't necessarily do some of the things that I could do when I was 25 or 30, you know, or I think to myself, you know, 60 and 70 is a lot closer than my high school years were. And so if there are things that I want to do, I better start doing them. You know what I mean? And I think, like, you know, it's like looking at things like that and really appreciating that. But I love that it's this idea of we're never, you know, like you're never in your 50s, or I mean, you are, but like by age definition, but it's like you're kind of fading into that, you know? It was like I was talking to my friend the other day, and we were talking about, she was asking me when I let my hair grow out white, and I was saying that I let it, so I started growing a beard on our honeymoon, and that was 11 years ago, last month, and that when I came back, like my hair was, I was still coloring it, so it was brown, and my beard was growing in salt and pepper. Boo Riley, what are you doing up there? He's like, I'm smelling the cactus and stuff. Don't worry about me, Dad. And so, like, eventually I just, like, let it go. So it's been, like, 10 or 11 years that I've had white hair. And so she was like, how old were you at the time? And I thought I was, like, 42, but I guess I was really, like, 39, 40 when my hair completely turned white, because that would have been 10 or 11 years ago, right? And so, you know, I was like, oh, wow, that's really weird. That in your mindset, you think you're one age and you're really something else. And so that is the thing, you know, and we're ever growing, and we're ever changing, and we're ever evolving. And I like that idea. And now it's gonna be funny, because like every time I see like the sunset or the sunrise, and I do see it, the sunrise sometimes, because I stay up too late watching TV shows, I'm gonna think that, you know, that, because I have actually, like on the Weather Channel app and stuff, I've looked at, like, it'll say like sunset, you know, like 6:27 p.m. And I'll think, you know, there's never any exact moment that the sun sets, and there's never any exact moment that I think that we get a lesson or understand something or finally understand a point. And that's where I think that we're ever evolving, you know, and that's where I say, like, you know, once you've learned one lesson, you go on to learn another lesson and you graduate to the next level, but you never really graduate from the school, you know, like life is the school that you are in, and we're ever evolving and growing and learning, you know. That was a good meditation. All right, Boo Radley, what do you think we should read next? One's on revenge, and the other one is The Real Magic is About to Begin. Do we want something motivational for the weekend? Or do we want to talk about revenge? I want something motivational. So we're going to read from The Journey to the Heart by Melody Beatty. You know, it's interesting because I saw this one come up about revenge. And it says, like, no matter how long you've been recovering, no matter how solid our spiritual ground, we may still feel an overwhelming desire at times to punish or get even with another person. You know, I have to say that one of the reasons why I'm not leaning towards that one so much is that I'm not somebody that really feels revenge much. I really don't. You know, like, I think this idea, like, maybe in my past I did, but this idea of hurt people, I think that is true. I think in doing inventory and evaluation, when that's taking a look at resentments in my life, and then, you know, and having to carry that through with my sponsor and look at, well, what's my part in that? You know, what is my part in this resentment? What's my ownership? When you do that, it kind of eliminates the need for revenge, because it gives you power to kind of fix the issue, if that makes sense. And I don't know about you, but I would rather fix an issue and go to that person, and if I can, absolve it or make amends, than be revengeful and resentful and misery and angry for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to feel that way. That takes more of a toll on me than it does on anybody else. So when I'm able to look at my part in a situation, if I have a part in a situation, you know, there's a lot of situations of abusive natures and things like that that aren't. And I think those are situations where I would recommend, you know, talking to a professional. But I'm talking about, you know, where we feel like we were done wrong or something that are smaller situations. Like, I don't want to be revengeful in situations like that. I just don't, you know. I don't want to live with that in my heart. That is more heavy on my heart. That's where they say, like, you know, renting space in people's space in people's heads for free. I don't want to rent space for free in somebody's head. I just don't, you know. Like, I want to live my life, like, you know, lighter and not as heavy, because it really takes a toll on me. So we'll address that another day. Let's read The Real Magic is About to Begin from The Journey to the Heart, Melody Beatty book, September 16th. The real magic is about to begin. At some point in the journey, we may become tired, weary, and confused, homesick. All the mountains, the scenery, the food, the people, the experiences just don't do it for us anymore. We want to go home. What am I doing here, we wonder. Nothing worthwhile is happening. Yet another part of us knows the truth and whispers, yes, something is happening, something worthwhile. Feeling homesick is part of the journey. It can mean we've reached a turning point. When we get to that place, a friend once said, it means the journey has really begun. Stay present for yourself and all your emotions. You've worked through so much. Don't stop now. Getting through this place, this point, will turn your life around. You've learned and grown. You've worked so hard, healing your heart and cleansing your soul. Your spiritual growth has been profound, but until now, all the work you've done has been to prepare you for where you are going. You've seen only a little of what life has to offer. You're about to walk through a door. Now that your heart is open, you'll see, touch, and know even more of life's wonders. It's the reward for where you've been. Keep feeling your feelings and trusting your guidance. Let the magic begin. And I love that meditation. You know, I think this idea of being homesick is sometimes... I just love this channel so much. Like, it's so nice to be able to read these meditations and share them with somebody. And this is something that Tanya and I used to do pretty regularly. We would read the meditations and then talk to each other about it. So it's really, you know, helpful for me because I kind of think through it as I'm going. And both of these meditations, I have to say, were kind of like meditations. Like, when I started reading them, I was like, where is this going? I'm a little confused. But I think the idea of being homesick is interesting, you know. I think, and also nesting, you know, and I think when we're constantly like working on ourselves and we're like running, and it's like we're in the, you know, getting the kids to school and trying to like work up the chain at work and, you know, have the perfect house and the perfect this and pay off debt and do all this kind of stuff. It feels like there is that moment where it's like, I just like, I wish I could go home, you know, like I miss home. And home is kind of like this spiritual place for us. When I got sober, when my dad found me, before I went into treatment, and I was walking across the interstate, and it was like freezing cold outside, and I was like in boxer shorts and boots and in this leather jacket. He said, I kept on murmuring. I kept on saying over and over and over again, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And he said, but it didn't feel to me like you were talking about home, like your apartment. Like, it almost felt like you meant some kind of like spiritual or kind of, you know, esoteric home, kind of like, you know, some other meaning of home, right? That esoteric's not the word I meant to use, but some other kind of meaning of home. Well, like, I think we have all these sayings like home is where the heart is, you know, or, you know, Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, she just wanted to go home, and, you know, she finds out that everything that she was looking for was always in her own backyard. You know, and I think that it's not just necessarily this place, which I think is why nesting is so important to so many of us. Like my front porch, I love my front porch, you know, but it's not just because it's, you know, it's, you know, 6 by 3 foot concrete with 2 chairs and a table on it, you know, like what? Like, okay, it's just, it feels safe. It feels comfortable. I love that I get to talk to my neighbors. I've made it my own. It's my place, you know? And so when we feel that way, when we're going through things in life, it's like, what is that feeling when we're having that yearning to go home? Like, I want to go home. I want to go back, you know, back to where I feel safe again. And what does that mean? Does that mean that we've spread our wings too far? You know, take a look at the growth that you've done or made. Take a look at the progress that you've made. Be proud of yourself. But always allow yourself to go to somewhere safe again, you know, and say, this is my foundation, this is what I need, and, you know, I'm going to take care of myself and allow myself to go home, whatever your definition for that is. Anyway, those were interesting meditations I like those today. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.